So it's the day after Christmas. I got my pumpkin spice coffee here, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about the season 2 of Mando, Mandalorian. He's Mexican, so you can just call him Mando.
What the heck? Anakin's a traitor? How do they get
Okay, so the first season starts out with Mando's like in this kind of seedy area of a city, and he's there to meet up with some underworld type, right? And
Oh shit.
there's like a fucking ring. It's not quite a wrestling match because they have weapons, but it's two Gamorreans. But later on, at a certain point, one of the Gamorreans does a fucking dive off over the top rope. Like the thing that annoys the shit out of a lot of wrestling fans. They fucking do it. A toper suicida, as fucking Excalibur would say. But oh yeah, I wrote two Gamorreans fighting. That reminds me of Masters of Terras Kasi. But to the wrestling points, like, I guess whoever is in charge, Favreau or whatever, is a wrestling fan, which is interesting because I think maybe I feel like I've heard him mention wrestling in like a commentary before. But like that and the fact that Sasha Banks shows up later, I didn't think it'd be I didn't think it'd be talking about wrestling during Mandalorian. But anyway, he has to get some information from this guy, this alien. I didn't realize it was John Leguizamo in the makeup. I looked it up after the fact. But anyway, so, and like I said, only have bullet points here, and it's been a couple days, so I might forget some shit. But he ends up on Tatooine. That's where the information gets him.
What is it, empty? What the fuck is this? I got an empty crate.
Guy gets eaten. Oh, the Leguizamo guy gets eaten by the. There's like little creatures in the alleyways. Well, you can only see their eyeballs, but he leaves them hung upside down like Spider-Man, and they eat him, which is cool. So yeah, he goes to Mos Eisley and he meets up with the chick from the first season.
Oh shit.
There's some pit droid comedy that reminds me of the prequels.
Damn it.
And then R5D4 shows up. I'm pretty sure it's the same R5 from New Hope. I thought that was kind of cool. Oh yeah, because he meets up with Timothy Olyphant, and he gives him some information on how he got the armor.
Nice.
I like Timothy Olyphant a lot. I was looking up his filmography because I kind of forgot just off the top of my head. But I forgot he's Hitman. He's Agent 47. I just thought that was interesting casting. But he's in Go, which is one of my favorite movies. He's the pervy drug dealer that creeps on Katie Holmes. Scream 2 was the first movie I saw, right? Oh, and The Crazies. Oh yeah, he's the cop in Gone in 60 Seconds, the partner.
Nice.
So yeah, it's cool to see him. I like his interaction with Mandalorian. Like, he knows right away. Like, there's no tension about the armor. He's like, hey, I know I shouldn't have this shit. You probably want it back. But, I'm doing good with it. So just help me out on this mission. And I'll give it back to you straight up. And the mission is to kill a crate dragon. Which is a fucking sandworm type thing. Which is really cool.
Fuck yeah, dude, I'm kicking ass. Oh shit.
So yeah, they gotta team up. Oh yeah, there's a cool flashback when Oliphant's talking and they show like the celebration after Return of the Jedi, and then how the fucking town got taken over by like the construction guild or whatever it is. But anyway. So yeah, they gotta team up, and they gotta get the town to team up with Tusken Raiders. So I never really thought about this too much before. I guess I thought of Tusken Raiders as aliens at first, but I think they're just humans that dress up like that. I was just watching Attack of the Clones the other night, and like I was wondering why do they take Padme? I mean, not Padme, Shmi. Why do they take her? And it's like, are there men in the Tusken Raider tribe? Like, what was she like? Their like sex slave, and they just use her till she dies, or what? um, anyway, they probably explain some of that shit in the books or whatever. But anyway, yeah, they got to team up with the Tusken Raiders to kill the Crate Dragon, and it's a really awesome scene. Um, I like that you see like skeletons in the Dune Sea. It reminds me of the Rogue Squadron game. I wrote the Crate Dragon Spitfire. They use their jetpack missiles, and it's funny how they have to bend over to use the missiles. And at the end of the episode, you see Tamora Morrison come back as Boba Fett. So yeah, in a lot of ways, I feel like this is one of the best, if not the best, episode in the series, in the sense that it distills what I feel like the Mandalorian show is, which is like these little self-contained adventures with like nods to the overall Star Wars lore.
They can push you out
And
of your bro.
I feel like this episode perfectly encapsulated that. And this is the one that Jon Favreau directed, I think. So, really good start to the second season. Okay, the second episode is The Passenger. So it starts out with Mondo. He's on a speeder bike.
Yeah, I'm out of there.
I always want to call them Swoops, but I think Swoop is the trooper,
Oh, damn.
not the actual bike. But anyway,
Oh, he sniped me.
he gets robbed by these, I guess, other little bounty hunters. There's like a little one, and he tricks them. He gives him the jetpack, and then he fucking makes him fly in the air. There's another shot in the cantina where that chick, the pit droid chick, is playing cards with a big ant named Dr. Mandible, which is cool. A lot of the little stupid side characters are actually kind of memorable in this series, unlike the sequel trilogy. There's a robot that looks like Wally, I thought. But anyway, the basic deal is he needs to, or he agrees to give passage to this frog lady who needs to get to where he's going to fertilize her eggs or whatever. So she's carrying around eggs. And to me, the frog lady is kind of like somewhat disturbing. It's a testament to like the costume they use. It's so much better when they don't use CG for everything. Like I know some of the shots were CG. There's a really cool shot later where she's like actually running like a frog, which looks good. But for the most part, it's a person in a suit. But yeah, it's just like kind of off-putting.
Nice, fuck you, Hunter.
And the big controversy I remember seeing online, because I didn't watch the series until it was all done. And the Baby Yoda eats the frogs that she's trying to save, so he's like eating the last of her species.
Nice, fuck you, Anakin.
It's played for laughs, but it is kind of fucked up at the same time. But anyway, he gets pulled over by these New Republic guys in X-Wings. They're like kind of asshole cops, but they redeem themselves later. But I thought that was kind of cool that they're like too good, goody too, like up and up, like just let it slide, man. they don't want to let it slide.
Yeah, fuck you, Obi-Wan.
So anyway, they end up chasing him down on an ice planet, and he has to park, and the ship, I already forgot what the ship was called. It gets damaged, and so they're chilling on the planet, and the frog finds a hot bath and is like swimming and shit, which is more is also some more disturbing shit. And how long before someone online draws like the frog with tits or some shit? And Baby Yoda, he's always hungry, so he's looking for shit to eat, and he finds like it's like Alien. There's like little eggs and spiders come out, and he eats one of them, and then he ends up triggering all the other ones, and a big fucking spider comes out at the end, and it chases him through the caverns, and then they're about to get fucked up by the big one, and then all of a sudden they get saved by the X-wing pilots, and apparently, like, you know, they know about Mando. He's helped out the Republic before, so that was kind of a neat touch that they actually help out.
Oh wow.
So it's a cool little episode. He ends up
Nice.
getting
Fucking bitch.
to the calamari planet that he needs to get to. Okay, episode 3 is called The Heiress. This one's directed by one of my directing crushes, Bryce Howard. Her and Patty Jenkins are like two hottie directors. But anyway, so yeah, the episode starts with the Razor Crest. I just remembered now. I didn't look it up.
Nice.
They park it and it falls over in the water, so it's supposed to be funny because it's all trashed out. The frogs reunite, and he gets the info he needs. And you see a shot of Sasha Banks spying on him. I wonder if Vince gets his cut, because there's that controversy this year about how like Vince doesn't allow the wrestlers to have third party income. So I wonder if he got his cut of her check, or if she gets special treatment, which I wouldn't be surprised by.
Coming for you, Ninja.
But anyway, so they sail to go find some Mondos, and
Nice.
they turn on Mando, and they put him underwater with a mama core or whatever it's called, and 3 other Mandos come and save him. So I don't know this character because I didn't watch Clone Wars. I'm trying to watch it now. But it's Katie Sackhoff playing Bo-Katan, which she also voices, and I like Katie Sackhoff. She was in that Riddick movie that was really good, or that I liked. So it's cool to see her. And they give him some info that like his group of Mandos is actually like a hardcore version. It's like a cult almost. Cause she's like a OG Mando or whatever. So basically, the episode is him teaming up with them to get some help to further his mission, and they have to infiltrate like an Imperial ship or something. That's pretty much it for that. They mention Ahsoka, who shows up in the next episode. And I like when he flies away that like the Razor Crest is all like fishy. It's got like seaweed and shit. And oh yeah, there's a scene where like the 2 frogs have to watch Baby Yoda, and the fucking frogs let him play with one of the tadpoles. Like, what are you doing? He's gonna eat him. But anyway, they're not that smart. Not as good as the episode she did in the first season, but I like Bryce Howard, so good shit. So episode 4 was called The Siege. This is the one that Carl Weathers directed, which is cool.
Fucking this shit.
So the first thing I wrote was Gina's super hot, Gina Carano. She's really fucking hot in this episode. There's a shot. Well, what happens is Mando has to go back to that the planet that he left her and Carl Weathers on, and it's kind of made over now that the Empire's been driven out. There's a scene with Yoda in school, which is kind of cool. I also didn't realize that the blue guy in the first episode shows up, He's like working for Carl Weathers. Apparently that he was like running from him in the first season. I didn't realize that was Horatio Sands. Like I got the voice, but just couldn't place it because the makeup's really good. But yeah, they have to infiltrate like a little, cause Mando needs help. So they're like, well, help us out first. Let's do this mission, clear out the last of the Empire on the planet. There's like a little base there. So they have to infiltrate it. I wrote Gina running because there's some great shots of her running. And it's like a cloning station. The doctor from the first season is there. And they look at some tubes of like some failed clones or whatever. Because they need the Baby Yoda for his M count, his midi-chlorian count. And there's like test tubes with creatures in it. And I was like, is this supposed to be... Are they making Snokes? Are they trying to tie this into the sequel trilogy? Which is like, oh man. But if they are, I guess that's a good way to tie it, right? And I don't know if I said it before. There's another episode where they mention like Canto Blight and shit. I just like roll my eyes anytime they try and reference the sequel trilogy. But anyway, yeah. So there's like a speeder chase. Star Destroyer mode. I don't know what that means. It's been a couple of days since I watched it, but anyway, it's a pretty cool episode. I'm glad that Carl Weathers got to direct an episode. And like I said, seeing Gina Carano was never a bad thing. Alright, episode 5, The Jedi. So right away it starts off with some badass shit. You see Ahsoka Tano chop some fools up. I know Ahsoka because I saw the Clone Wars movie. And so in like the beginning of the show. So I'm familiar with the character, so it makes it a little better to see her older. And it's cool. They're on like a planet. It's like a deforested, like smoky planet. And she's there to like, I guess, kill this like magistrate or whatever, this woman that has taken over the town. And Michael Biehn is there. He's like the hired gun, which is cool. And Mando agrees to kill Ahsoka for the woman in exchange for some a Beskar spear, which is cool. He meets up with Ahsoka first, I think, so they like have it playing. But you get backstory on Grogu, which is Baby Yoda. It's a weird name. It doesn't really roll off the tongue, and so it's easier just to still call him Baby Yoda. But I guess you get used to it by the end.
Stupid asshole.
And yeah, apparently Grogu was in the Jedi Temple that Anakin fucked up, killing all the younglings. He got smuggled out. A lot of people are saying like maybe it's R2 because there's a scene later where maybe R2 recognizes him. I assumed it was someone bad that took him out of the temple just because when we first see him, he's like in control of, he's being held by bad guys, so I don't know how he ends up that way, but I guess it's plausible that R2 saved the Baby Yoda. I don't know.
I like how he crawls.
But Ahsoka tells him that she can't train Grogu because he's got some attachment issues, which is the failing of Jedis, I guess, like we've seen with Anakin. So at this point, maybe she must already know that Anakin turned. So there's some nice callback to that. And The episode's cool because it references, because you know Star Wars was sort of built on like Western influences and Kurosawa films, so it's got that Asian samurai influence, which is really cool. Ahsoka fights the woman, the magistrate woman or whatever. They have a sword fight, and she's looking for fucking Grand Admiral Thrawn, which is awesome because that's a character I associate with like you know EU stuff. Obviously, I know he shows up in Rebels, but like from like Shadows of the Empire and like that first toy line of the EU stuff is like when I was first introduced to that character. So that's really cool. Hopefully he shows up, you know, later on in live action. Um, but yeah, I forget how pretty much how it ends. He gets the spear, and she goes on her way. Oh yeah, his mission is basically to find an actual Jedi, because she renounced the order and shit. But yeah, that's a nice scene with him playing with the ball back and forth with Grogu, and so they sort of build that attachment in this season, and it pays off later on. Alright, episode 6 is called The Tragedy. This is the one directed by Robert Rodriguez, who I was a big fan of, you know, especially back when I was really into filmmakers and that trinity of like Tarantino, Kevin Smith, and Robert Rodriguez. So it's really cool that he's directing this episode and he's gonna do more Boba Fett stuff. But yeah, this is probably my favorite episode of the season. So Mando takes Baby Yoda to the Rock. Welcome to the Rock. Cause it's like a beacon or some shit. So maybe a Jedi will find him. And while he's doing that, he's got like a force field around him, and you see the fucking Slave One park up on him, and Boba Fett's in there with Ming Na Wen or whatever her character's name was. And they show like she survived the gunshot. She's got like some circuitry, some robo guts. Get up in them guts. So they're sort of introducing that idea into live action, because they're gonna have to do the same thing when Darth Maul shows up. But it's really an action-packed episode. I didn't write too much. Boba kicking ass is awesome. He's got like a big stick, and he's like fucking knocking the helmets off of stormtroopers. That happens a lot in the first season too, with the armor. Like cracking the armor on the stormtroopers is really cool. And there's a scene where like like they're getting shot at by stormtroopers, and I think Mando has to push like a boulder onto him. And the stormtrooper's like, I'll just shoot it instead of get out of the way. But there's no Wilhelm screams, which is a famous canned scream that is used in the Star Wars series. And then eventually we see Boba Fett in the armor, and it's fucking badass. The stormtroopers get some backup with some death troopers, which is cool. I love all the EU stuff.
Just barely too.
I'll
take that.
Boba uses his missile on the Imperial ships leaving, which is cool. It's just like a really good action-packed episode. And so Boba and Mando end up teaming up for the rest of the series, which is awesome. All right, so episode 7, The Believer. So Bill Burr returns, which I didn't like at first. The character, he has to they need to spring him because they need his help to infiltrate. A lot of infiltration in the city. um, they need some information or whatever. Um, and they can't use any of the guys. They all have reasons for not being able to. And they're like, well, why can't Boba Fett go in? Uh, and he makes a joke like, oh, they'd recognize my face, which is cool. Um, but there's a scene and they have to capture like a transport vehicle. It's carrying rhydonium, which is like combustible or whatever. But Bill Burr and Mando have a nice scene where he's talking. I forget the context or the substance of the convo. But I remember thinking, hey, this is some good writing. But anyway, they get to the little station. And there's a captain there, whatever, that Bill Burr used to serve under, named Van Hess. So he can't go in there into like the little mess hall. So Mando has to go in, and he ends up having to take off his helmet. And Van Hess goes up to them because he's suspicious. And the actor that plays him is really interesting. He's like this creepy guy. He was in what was that Rob Zombie movie, like 21 or something? He's like a rapey clown or something. There's also a TPS report joke. But anyway, eventually the subterfuge doesn't last and they have to blast their way out of there and escape. And they just let Bill Burr walk off. They just leave him there. Like, I get that they would let him free, but why not give him a ride first or something? But anyway, it's a pretty good episode. It's probably the best writing in the season. All right, and then the final episode of the season, The Rescue. So at the beginning, they catch up with the cloning doctor, and I think he gives them, the info to where to go next. They have like a little standoff with a couple of Imperials. One of them's like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself instead of getting captured or whatever. So Mando and Boba have to go ask the other Mandos for help. And for some reason, the guy one is gone. It's just Sasha and Bo-Katan. I didn't like fucking Sasha Banks acting hard. She does a tornado DDT to Boba Fett that I rolled my eyes at. Like, how does it doing a DDT on Boba Fett hurt him when he has a fucking helmet on? But anyway, they all agree to team up to go, because Bo-Katan needs the dark saber, because I guess in the Mandalorian lore, whoever has it gets to be the fucking ruler of Mandalore. So she needs to get it from Gustavo Fringe. So they get on the ship or whatever, and the Dark Troopers get activated. I wrote Dark Trooper dubstep because when they're turning on, it's like a dubstep song that plays. And the Mando has to fight one, which is really cool. And he ends up like sucking all the other ones out into space.
Damn, she got rapid fire.
And he uses the spear to fight Gustavo with the dark saber. It's established that Beskar is sort of impervious to lightsabers, which is cool. It's like the adamantium. So yeah, they finally make their way up and they capture Gus and whatever. And it didn't click to me right away. You see an X-Wing on the screen come in. And I was just thinking of like, the X-Wing guys from earlier in the season.
Oh shit.
But it's fucking Rogue 5, dude. It's Luke. And so Luke comes in and because they're about to be, infiltrated. They're about to be capture or like Gus has more Dark Troopers coming in, right? And they're about to bust in through the door, and so that's when Luke comes in to save them. Um, so yeah, it's really awesome. It kind of evokes the scene in Rogue One where Darth Vader comes in and kills all the rebels. Um, so apparently it is Mark Hamill, like he was there on set. Um, but I don't get it because like, isn't he kind of fat? Like it's obviously a body double when he's doing the fighting. But they said that they did like de-aging.
Nice.
So I don't know. I question how much he actually did on set. But a lot of people were cool with it. Some people weren't. It's not as bad as Rogue One because it's supposedly not a completely CGI character. It's de-aging. Not like what they did with Tarkin and like using a body double, like probably what they did with Leia. But
Nice headshot.
I thought it was pretty cool. But mostly it's like there's a really touching scene with Mando having to say bye to Grogu, and it's really cool. It's a great ending to the season. Oh yeah, and it ends up that Mando ends up with the sword because he won it in combat. So there's like future tension with Bo-Katan and Mandalorian fighting over
You motherfucker.
the sword because he doesn't really want it, but he won it fair and square. So even though he's part of a cult, Bo-Katan sticks to that rule for some reason. She's also got like some kind of evil vibes, which I guess foreshadowing for the future. There's like some post-credit stuff, which is cool. Like Boba goes to Jabba's palace, and Bib Fortuna is like taking it over. He's gotten fat, and so Boba comes in and shoots him and sits on the throne. So we're gonna get another series with Boba Fett. That Robert Rodriguez is. I imagine he's gonna direct a lot. He's like executive producing it, so that'll be cool to look forward to. But overall, season 2 is really strong. There's not like any boring parts to it, and I'm okay with the fan servicey parts because I think a lot of people were let down with the sequel trilogy. So overall, pretty entertaining and good show.
Oh yeah. Finally get a win with Boba Fett.
Boba Fett ends the round and prepares to build for services rendered.
Did I get the last kill? I think I did. At least I showed up on the scoreboard. I'll take that.